the Messianic prophecies, where and when he was to come, according to the Hebrew Bible, which is the Christian Old Testament. In the book of the prophet Micah, chapter 5, we read, "But you, O Bethlehem Ephratah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one, who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from the beginning. Therefore he shall give them up, until the time when she who is in labor has given birth to him. Then the rest of his brothers shall return to the people of Israel. And he shall stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord, his God. And they shall remain, for now he shall be great to the ends of the earth." The Apostle Matthew records in his Gospel, chapter 2. "Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, Herod assembled all the chief priests and scribes of the people and inquired of them where the Christ, that is, Messiah, was to be born. They told him, 'In Bethlehem of Judea. For so it is written by the prophet Micah. And you, O Bethlehem in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come the ruler who will shepherd my people Israel.'" According to this, Jewish scholars in the first century saw Micah 5 as a messianic prophecy. But what do the rabbinical sources say? The Jewish Midrash, a.k.a. Rabbi Eliezer, also asks in chapter 3, "From where do we know that the name of the Messiah existed before creation? Because it is said, in Micah 5, 'But you, O Bethlehem Ephratah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me, one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from the beginning.'" From the beginning means when the world had not yet been created. Several Jewish Torah commentators confirmed the messianic significance of Micah 5, including Rashi, who writes, "From you shall come forth for me one, namely the Messiah, son of David." Now that the Messiah's birthplace has been clarified, let's look at when he was supposed to come. Daniel chapter 9 verse 24 states, 77s or 490 years are decreed about your people and your holy city Jerusalem, to finish the transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the Holy of Holies. Several rabbis such as Malbim have confirmed, must be talking about years, not days. Furthermore, the Holy of Holies does not only refer to the innermost part of the temple, but also to the sacrifice lamb, as it is declared, without blemish. Verse 25 continues, "From the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, to the coming of an anointed prince, there shall be 7 sevens or 49 years, and 62 sevens or 434 years, the streets and trenches will be built again, but in a troubled time." Cyrus and Darius I only spoke of rebuilding the temple. Artaxerxes I, on the other hand, was talking about the whole city. Many rabbinical commentators identified the anointed prince with Joshua the high priest or Zerubbabel. Most Christian commentators, however, identified him with Jesus himself. Now let's turn to the key passage in verse 26. It says, "After the 62 sevens, altogether 483 years, Messiah shall be cut off, that is, executed. But not for himself, or no one, nothing for him. And the people of a prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary." The term cut off, according to the Torah, means to be executed. But not for himself, or no one, nothing for him, can either mean that the Messiah would die for the sins of others or that he would not have an earthly kingdom at first. Here is a visual timeline of the prophecy. It would take a total of 490 years to atone for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to anoint the Holy of Holies. The counting begins from the going forth of the commandment to rebuild Jerusalem by Artaxerxes I. Historians date this to around 457 BC. Then there shall be 49 years and another 434 years, in which the streets and trenches will be built. 49 and 434 equal 483 years. That brings us to the 1st century, around 27 AD, when Jesus started his ministry. It goes on to say that after the 483 years, the Messiah will be cut off, that is, executed. Historians largely agree that Jesus was crucified around the year 30. But the people of a prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. How does the Talmud interpret these events? In the Talmud, Tractate Nazir 32b, it says, "It is written, The temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord is this. This speaks of the first and second temple being destroyed, therefore it is mentioned a third time. Even if they knew that the second temple would be destroyed, did they know when? It is also written in Daniel 9. 77s, or 490 years, are decreed on your people and on your holy city. However, did they know on which day? So this passage in the Talmud confirms that the end of the 490 years occurred in the 1st century. In the Talmud, Tractate Megillah 3a it says, the Aramaic translation, the Targum of the Prophets, was written by Yonatan ben Uziel. He also wanted to write a revealing translation of the later writings, or Ketuvim. But a divine voice came and said to him, "It is enough for you. In other words, stop revealing." Why? Because it speaks about the end of Messiah. Rashi explained further in his Talmud commentary, the end of Messiah, in the book of Daniel. Tractate Sanhedrin 97b of the Talmud contains an even more stern warning. Rabbi Yonatan said, "May those who calculate the end be cursed, because when we reach the end and he, the Messiah, did not come, they would say that he would not come at all. It is better to just wait for him." Why should one fear that he would not come at all? Perhaps because some realized that he should have already come. The rabbis of the Talmud were disciples of the Pharisees. Jesus had criticized their traditions, so they convinced the high council in Jerusalem that he was a deceiver and deserved the death penalty. This is reported not only in the Christian New Testament, but also in the Jewish Talmud. For further details, go to our video, Yeshu, Jesus in the Talmud. The Talmud recounts mysterious things after the crucifixion in Yoma 67a. On the Day of Atonement, they initially used to tie a strip of crimson outside the gate of the entrance hall of the temple. When the strip, after the sacrifice, turned white, they rejoiced, because the atonement of their sins was believed to be confirmed. When it did not turn white, but remained red, they were sad and ashamed, because the forgiveness of their sins was not confirmed. Rosh Hashanah 31b continues, during the 40 years before the destruction of the temple, the strip of crimson did not become white anymore. Rather, it turned more red, meaning the sacrifice on the Day of Atonement was no more accepted. But more strange things were going to happen in the temple. Yoma 39b continues, during the 40 years before the destruction of the temple, the high priest Lot, saying, "For the Lord," did not appear in the right hand anymore. Also, the strip of crimson did not turn white anymore. The western lamp of the lampstand did not burn anymore. And the temple gates opened by themselves, until Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai scolded them and said, "Temple, temple, why do you frighten yourself? I know about you that you will ultimately be destroyed." As we've already read, in the aftermath of Messiah's death, the people of a prince who is to come would destroy the city and the sanctuary. In 70 AD, the Roman armies of Titus destroyed Jerusalem, including the temple. Years later, he became Roman emperor.